Hey guys, what's up? This is ScherBR talking. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about my account on SaGASaGa UniverSe Global. I want to show you the characters that I've been using, also formations that I've been using, what I've been doing so far. In December, I wanted to do a video like this, but there was just so much content. We didn't have much time to breathe, and now we have way too much time. I believe we have 3 days without much content, and now is a good time to do this. Well, one of the characters that I got recently since my last update was Barthélemy, and this guy is such a beast. One of the best characters that I have right now. I always use him when the enemy is weak against Moon or Heat, and there's a lot of enemies weak against Heat, and we barely have this elemental covered in the game. And Barthélemy is the character with the highest HP that I have. He's very close to beating 1000 HP, but still not so much. The next one should be Blue, because the enemies on the episode 15 are weak against Sun and Heat, so he's becoming one of my best attackers. I had recently used him to face one of the challenges that was Battle Against Death. I managed to do like 60k damage with this guy here, and he's a boss killer, a very strong boss killer. Not just him, but also his brother. Rouge is also very strong on this, but well, let's talk about Yunzin first. Another character that I don't regret investing on. I still use the Teacher Yunzin version because of Ice Javelin is an easy way to do AoE damage. But when the Teacher Yunzin is not so good, you can still use the Stun Yunzin. Thunderclap is way more useful than I thought. Even when farming, she's still okay because of stun. So mages are my favorite class in the game right now. Ever since they become AoE attackers, I never stop using them. Princess White Rose is also a joy to play. The new version of her became way better than I thought. She still has some problems with cycling. Blessed Garden only uses 9 in DP, so you can not use it 3 times in a row. Well, align it with Chocolate Ball, but well, if you don't really mind about clearing fast, she's still pretty useful. Also, the buffing wheel has becoming something very important in late game content. In bosses, the buffing wheel just means a lot. On the Battle Against Death, I also used this character, and she changed the results. Well, Global Exclusive Katarina has lost some use for me because the stages are not weak against Slash recently, but she's still a pretty nice character that I always try to bring up to the close status that I can farm. I still don't have the other style of Katarina. I'm missing out. Ellen is like one of my best damage dealers as well, but she cannot do high damage on turn 1. The best attacks of her are turn 2. But for farming, she's pretty nice, since Heavy Slash is still very strong for content. And I also have all the Ellen styles. Recently using this one here, on level very high as well. When I need slash damage, and I can use the Heavy Slash attack, I always use her. Fair is still pretty strong of my characters. She really has some difficulty getting more STR. I don't know why. I believe it's because she doesn't have 2 arrows. Let's check here. I don't know why. Yeah, she doesn't have 2 arrows for STR, that's why. But she still fares very well against bosses. One of my best characters as well. Rouge is finally here. I am not using him as much as I have been using on the past 2 episodes of story mode because, well, there are not many enemies weak against Moon right now. But once they are, this guy here never lets me down. Princess Ray is also surprising me. I was thinking that Princess Ray would not be so useful for farming, but even then, when you know exactly the best place to use Green Reaper to kill an enemy, you get a lot of time. Using her alongside Barthélemy makes her very good as well, since she can use Green Reaper 2 times in a row. I am very surprised with Princess Ray, is one character that I'm always bringing up to content. Acelus has lost some utility for me, since most of the characters that can bring AoE are now mages, and Acelus really do not need to be on squads anymore. Well, you can have other coverage, but a very solid character that I don't regret investing. We'll have to talk about characters that I regret investing, but we are not there yet. And now we have Jen. really one of the best characters that anyone could choose from the free anniversary tickets. Jen is kinda stronger than I really thought. Even though I knew that Life Sprinkler was very strong, Jen is pretty nice as a boss killer as well, even when you don't have all of his passives active. One of the best attacks in the game. Next character is Sarah. Well, I didn't summon for Sarah, but Sarah appeared for me. I would not summon for her, but she kind of works really bad with AoE attacks. I know that she cannot use it just all the time. I only have one version of Sarah. Well, not bad, but at least, in my opinion, average. Liz. Liz was also a very good and surprising character. I knew that I would be using her for a while because of her SS weapon and also very high intelligence. Dragon's Fury is a very strong attack that also is easy to use a lot of times since it's very cheap. And for boss fights, this girl rocks. Very, very high damage output. I don't regret chasing Liz. Award Monica has a little of underperforming for me. I believe that even using Mega Thrust makes her better than just using linear across. Even if the enemy is weak against Sun, there were times where damage was just so bad that even if bringing her up to the current levels of power, she will still be underperforming. So you need Mega Thrust from her normal style to get double S damage. That is a little better than just keep using the same linear across all the time. This arc is also very broken, man. Everyone jokes it on my Discord channel. I still believe that Southern Cross is a better cycling than the other attack. Well, Monica is not getting much use lately as well, so one character that I'm not using so much. ScherBR is also another nice surprise. It really depends on the stage, but the power that this guy has is something to be reckoned with. Ice Lance and Brushstroke are easy to farm on stages where their enemies farm it on roll, and when it does, it works. Sadly, there's not many stages like that. I also training Maelstrom since it's one of the strongest attacks in the game, but it's still not so easy to find a place where I can use Maelstrom and, well, other attacks. And usually when I want to use Maelstrom, I just use that and not other attacks. So ScherBR was another character that I didn't want to summon for, but he did appear and I'm making a use of him. I'm playing with him more than Monica right now. Kongbing is still trained because, well, enemies are weak to Sun. Crimson Flare is still not fully awakened. I don't really like to use this guy for single target damage, just AoE. Gustav, just trained because of, you know, we got some status up. Let's just get out of here and check some others, like Fuse. Fuse is one of my favorite characters in this game right now. Submachine Gun is such an incredible attack that you can use in a lot of situations. He's my favorite gunner, even more than Emilia. Because for blunt damage, it's not easy to find strong characters anymore. Characters that were on the spotlight like Azami and Cat are not anymore. They are not so strong compared to what we have in Slash or Mages. So Fuse helps a little. He's still not a boss killer, but when you can inflict unconsciousnesses or just confusion, this guy is a beast. Also makes a lot of content easier in this game. One of my favorite ones. Well, Emilia is right after, you know, very close status between the two. Sweet Trap is still super powerful. I still use this for boss fights. But besides that, she has problems with AoE cyclings. Because the devs announced that they will be releasing another style of her, I am kinda happy because this one will be getting old pretty soon. But I still don't regret summoning for this version. I have used this so many times. Julian is another nice surprise. When I was doing a review on this guy, I was not entirely sure how good he was, because you have to play with him to understand. With Julian, all my mage squads became better, especially when I'm only need of 3 mages in a setup for farming, and he can just increase the survivability. If they are fast enough and sometimes get attacked, Julian makes them survive till they finish the fight. Because not many squads can be made with full mage squads, because of not many intelligence plus slots, Julian is very easy to slot in the squad, and that makes him even better. For boss fights, I have used him only once, and he also worked pretty fine. I believe I'll get to use him even more in the future. With the Tiger Break formation, it's just so good. Polka is a beast. Well, we don't have many fire damage dealers in this game. Scatter Explosion is not so reliable, it attacks 3 to 5 times, but when the enemy is weak, oh man, the damage is just so fine. He's very good for Bard training stages, yes. Really like Polka, easy to use, we have weapon from him, and very easy. Coppelia, I only trained it because I don't have the new one. Wish I had. I just had to decide to skip some characters and had to skip Coppelia. Final Empress, when I need a healer, she's my first to choose. I believe now she will get a little less usage because of Norwal's Door, incredible useful, but only when I need to play on manual. For auto, Final Empress is still pretty fine. I don't regret summoning for Final Empress at all. Mikhail, I don't have his SS style, so let's leave him here. I believe I regret the summoning for Thomas. I said that it was not so good to summon for Thomas right when he was released, because there was another characters in the future that can also petrify better than him. But a future version of Thomas needs this one. But back on the days when I summoned for him, I didn't know that the Japanese version of the game will had a special banner with the first year characters together. For better chances, we have 10% chance of summoning. If I knew that, I would never summon for this Thomas back when he was released. I rarely use him. He's still the best petrifier right now in the game, but he will soon be outclassed, and I don't easily find a place for him in my squad. Simply because we have way too much mages that are strong, and he's competing for a mage slot. And when I want pierce damage, he fails to provide a strong opener. So, very hard to use this Thomas. This one I regret investing. Claudia is still one of my favorites to cheese content. I really enjoy seeing Stereo Rain paralyzing enemies. I don't regret summoning for Claudia at all. Yes, very nice. Also, Assassin Zero is one of the best attacks to kill enemies since it's cheap to use, and she's the best one using this. I used some strategies on stage farming with her and was pretty fine. Well, I am investing in some free characters just for, you know, to have fun, have new characters. Penelope is not as bad as I thought, but she needs Barthélemy to really shine on stages where you can do pierce damage against enemies, usually against undeads that have flash. They are usually weak against pierce and heat. Not so bad, but, well, just for diversity, I believe. Judy is still one of my best and favorite characters. She is something simple. She has only 3 skills, she does not have inheritance, and I'm still using her up to this day. She's a good pair with Rouge, and I also use her in boss fights because of the Will debuff. You can use it on turn 1 and on turn 3. If you can finish the fight by turn 6, you already had a lot of value out of this character. Let's see some other ones besides Julie. Vampire Lady, I've stopped using her all that much because she's pretty fine on Zweig. On Zweig, I am preferring Julian sometimes because he can at least make people survive. Vampire Lady can also make the same thing, but if the fight has more than one turn, Vampire Lady loses a lot of utility. She's still on my Hidden Dojo squad. She's my best tank for Hidden Dojo. I still really enjoy using her, but her charm chance on Zweig is only 1 turn, decreasing her utility. I still believe she's one of my best, but I don't use her all that much anymore. Especially because Fuse can also handle things without the need of Vampire Lady, usually. Still a pretty powerful character that I don't regret spending. Okay, well, Buddy is a character that I use more for AoE than for Rabbit Trick. If I knew that I could wait a little more, maybe Buddy I could have skipped it. When I need to use some very powerful attacks, I don't rely on Habit Trick. But for random shots, she's still pretty fine. Blunt damage, she's still beating characters that I was using before her, like Azami. I barely use Silver. I failed to get her limited style, so she's here just getting dust. I believe those are the characters that I'm using the most. I am training some other characters, but, well, I don't use them all. You can see Azami left in the dust as well. I don't have her summer style. For Cat, I still don't have her summer style as well, so they are here in the back. I barely use submission as a strategy recently. I know that it may be useful again, but right now I barely use this. Robin's one of the best freak styles I got recently as well. I really love this guy here. The damage may not be so high, but he brings utility, and I like utility. Rock Bouquet is one character that I regret summoning for the Valentine's version, but she was very close to my Princess White Rose when I summoned it, so I know that Valentine's lure can be useful in the future as well, so I think it's okay. And besides this, all the other characters I barely use anymore. I barely use Sophia. Poor girl. She's still fine for those that don't have any other healers, but she's been replaced so many times. I also have Narwhal's daughter, and I barely used her yet, since it's a very recent character. Water Festival is an amazing skill, but it's only for bosses. But with her, you can beat any boss in this game. Very, very easy. I believe those are all the characters that I have been playing with. Oh, Zeling, I was forgetting about Zeling. I don't know why she doesn't have that much HP, but I really love to use Zeling for AoE farming. She's a free character that really has high damage. Even though the abilities may not suggest this, she gets 20% increase on damage with full HP. The other two skills are based on stealth, and stealth doesn't really work as the game says. Yes, I believe the other characters are left in the dust. T260G is a favorite of mine from the game that he was actually a she was released on Saga Frontier 1, and I regret summoning for this character. Even through a favorite one, I never used her anymore. Yes. We getting another version of T260G that is way better. I believe that's it. All the other characters I kinda left in the dust, and the ones that I've been using I just said. I also want to know about you guys, what are the characters that you are using? Those are mine. Well, now I'll be talking about formations, because some formations that I've been using, I change it a lot. I always change the formations that I've been using based on how well I can fit my characters in. Let's click here on it so we can check. I've been using Tiger Break way more often than before because of Julian. Let's change here. So the best possible formations for me right now are Deadly Pierce, Dragon Strike, Tiger Shark, and Rainbow Rangers. These are the best strategies. I barely use Magical Shower again. I used it for a while because of the slot number 1 getting more chance to be attacking, and well, it's still not so bad since it increases the damage output of mages without reducing the output of the other characters. But since I barely use martial artists in this game anymore, this formation do not boost the damage of older classes, so I barely use this anymore. The same thing happens with Divine Wall. I barely use this anymore. When I want to use mages, instead of using Magical Shower, I use Tiger Shark. Even though the damage is not the same, we don't lose too much agility. Our mages can still attack before our enemies. I hardly use Rapid String, unless the enemies are pretty fast. And all the other formations from the tops, I don't use it then anymore. Rainbow Rangers is usually my go-to formation where I can bring diversity. Now that we have way too many characters and styles, we can choose and make diverse squads, and this is still the best formation when you want damage. And you can increase the agility from someone to always go first with this. A very powerful, and in my opinion, the best formation. So yeah, Rainbow Rangers, Tiger Shark, Deadly Pierce, and Dragon Strike are the best formations and the ones that I use the most. And well guys, I think this is it. I just wanted to show you how I am progressing in the game. I also have a lot of the equipments upgraded to the max. I have been farming a lot of the Holy Stones. Another reason why we just had way too much things to do in December. A little more in January as well. I got 9 of these Abate All Stones. I didn't get all the stones that I wanted to get for weapons, since we didn't have all that much time. When you click here, you can see that there's a lot of room to improve. A lot of room to improve. But it was also very exhausting back when it was released. And for last, let me show you one of my favorite squads. I have this beast here, where I can bring a healer, that is also a damage dealer, Barthélemy, increasing intelligence, Fuse on the deck slot. I also have Blue with agility plus, so that he can debuff the agility from the enemies. Also very good damage dealer by itself, with Julian in the front line. This is like the best way to use Julian in formations where he does not need aggro, since he can cover. And this is one of my favorite squads right now. When I want to steamroll some content like Tower, even Zwig, they work. And they are some of my best and my finest. And this is it, guys. Thank you all for watching this video. I want to know about you. Which characters are you using the most? The formations that you are using? How far are you in the game? Let me know here in the comment section. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by any of the links on the description. We see each other on the next video. Bye!